Hello everybody, this is Jonathan from Horse Construction here again. I thought I should do a little update on the trailer. As you can see by this video, I got a new one. This one's bigger than the old one. Long story short, the old one rusted away from salt and whatever have you, and the cross members fell out of it. Be last fall just before winter, so I had to do some rushing around and we picked up this trailer now instead. This is a 8.5 wide by 16 foot long, V-front again. This here trailer, we went with all aluminum. The frame, the skins, everything's aluminum on this trailer. Screwless exterior, 7.5 foot sidewalls, and I'll show you why that is once we go to the inside. We have ladder rack and ladder in the front again. This time we put the ladder in the center over the tongue. That way when you're backing into a driveway, if you have to turn really short, the bumper of your truck doesn't hit the ladder. This ladder rack did not come with a trailer. I had a local welding shop make that up for me, and I'll show you here what we did. Here you can see the first rung is extra high, so we don't hit it with the jack handle as it goes around. And I had to make it certain width to fit the tongue and everything. And I'll just climb up top here. Up top here, we have the walking plank in the center. And we recessed it down in below the crossbars this time instead of on top. That way, if we need to load anything that's wide, say roof steel or plywood or anything, which we rarely ever do, we can just slide stuff around and do it as we need. This one we mounted the ratchet straps, retractable ones, right on the side. It's very handy. We don't often use the stuff that's up here, but I hate to not take it along to the job. So we keep two 28-foot extension ladders and two 24-foot walking planks. You can see there's a bit of vinyl decking left over from a job that we were on. And yeah, we keep a ladder on the inside now instead of all of them on the top. Some of the ideas for the layout of this trailer, two people in particular that I got most of my ideas from. Some of them I came up with on my own, and I took some of their ideas and I tweaked them to fit our needs. One person would be Ron Polk, and John Gingrich, Gingrich Construction, took a couple of his ideas and incorporated them into this trailer. So if you come into the back of the trailer here, you can see we have roof underlayment and poly, compressor at the back, sawhorses. Here we have all of our levels in there, and you can see we have a ladder extension ladder in there. We have a table that's made out of an old extension ladder for doing siding or whatever. It's like our miter saw stand. Up above that we have room for some boards. These slots are just under 16 feet long, a couple of 1x. And here you can see what we did. So we framed the ceiling down 5.5 inches and reinforced it with these crossbars that go from side to side and are screwed into the studs of the trailer, and that allows us to carry just a variety of stuff, trim, all our trim accessories for siding, 1x, plain white soffit, which is common, some white siding, some Tyvek, some gutter downspout. I think there's a couple pieces of PEX in there, some rebar, just a bunch of miscellaneous stuff. There's a wood deck board in there as well. One note, if you're going to do this, what you should do is line the ceiling with Luan or some sort of plywood, because what happens is you go to slide something in and it hits the cross members of the roof. It can kind of be a pain. Unless you've stuck stuff in there enough times, you can wiggle around and get it in there. So what we would end up with for a ceiling height would be 6'6", which would be the same as what I would have had in my previous trailer. So if we come in the back, we got all our wrenches hanging up. Threw a vise in here. Don't often need it, but when you need it, you need it, and it comes in handy. Squares, framing squares, fire extinguisher. We have all of our impacts, our big impacts, our drills, everything, tape, saw blades, everything laid out, paper towels, some wrenches. This whiteboard that you're going to see is some poly panel that they use in dairy barns. I had a little bit of it left over, and it works good for whiteboard. You can write on it with a permanent marker, and it's pretty much permanent, and a dry erase marker works real good on it. Coming up here, we have all of our bits and stuff laid out in this board with holes in. We have our masonry bits for drill, wood bits, and steel bits. Tucked in behind here, we have a couple of long extension bits, right angle drill, stuff just shoved in the back. We also have some smaller bins which have miscellaneous crap in them. All of our paint, foam, spray, chalk, trash bags. And here we have all of our bins for all of our screws. Every different color for the steel that we use has its own bin, and there is dividers in here dividing the front from the back. We keep 1.5 inches in the front, 2 inches in the back for doing the trim that sits over the ridges of the tin. You need longer screws for that. Up in the top here, we keep 3 recips, 2 of the battery nailers, 2 air framers, a couple of roof guns there, 2 of the cord saws, which we rarely ever use anymore. We've got 3 of the battery ones, and we use them every day. I got an empty slot there. This is all made so I can move the boards around like Ron Polk had done, so we can move it however we want. Over here we've got all of the miscellaneous small tools: grinder, multi-tool, rotozip, router, planer. We've got foam gun, sander, flashlight, flat bars. We have up in here we got a drill, metal shears on it, some paper towels up on top, and we have this workbench going the whole length of the trailer. That comes in very handy. Just end of the day, grab your tools, come in here, dump them on the workbench, and put them away. I wanted everything laid out in this trailer 1 layer deep. I didn't want to have to reach over any other tools to get another tool. That was one of the problems we had in the previous trailer. So in these drawers, I have drawers all on the bottom that I made. Here we got all of our sockets. Got a El Cheapo Husky socket set, plastic toolbox deal. Cut it, jammed it in there. In here we have all of our layout, string line, tape measures, everything. This trailer I did go ahead and put Kaizen foam in the drawers, and that was money well spent. Here we have our first aid drawer, anything first aid, safety glasses. We have our hand tools in here, all of our pliers and vice grips and whatever random hand tools. Down below that we have all of our screwdrivers, chisels, punches, flat bar. Here we've got would have been a 1/4 inch chisel ground down to make a punch for punching sidewall steel on pole barns. Moving on down, we got all of our cutting blades. Well, some of them. The others are up there on the wall. Under here we've got sandpaper for sander, belt sander, recip blades, router bits, multi-tool blades, and some other miscellaneous stuff. In here we've just got jigsaw blades and miscellaneous cutting tips and small things that are specialty items that we didn't want to lose. Down here we have our notching and bending. So we have hacksaw, we have a bender for downspout, for gutters. We've got siding notchers, J-channel notchers, cat's paw, drywall rasp, siding swipe, coping saw, small hand bender. We've got a random little hand saw down in there. I think we just had it laying around. I'm not sure why we put it in, but we did. Over here we got electrical. We don't stock a lot, just some of the random stuff that we may or may not need. 3-ways for cords, some strapping, batteries for our laser. Down here we have a hardware drawer, all of our air fittings and splitters, bits and pieces to whatever, hooks for bungees, parts left over from tools, something broke, nail gun O-ring kits, clamps. I think we got a chainsaw chain in there, one new one. Up here we have our long wood bits for drilling through walls on log cabins, because you need to bring the wires, electrical wires and the plumbing up through the walls as you're stacking the logs. So we use different bits for that. Our SDS bits, we don't have a lot of them yet. We just got an SDS drill, so we're acquiring them as we need. Hole saws in here, bunch of whatever. We have staple guns and staples in that drawer. Up here in this drawer is tool accessories, drill handles, some pieces for the shop vac, table saw parts, guides for the circular saws, planer guide, a door jamb, hole saw thing. We got a grinder guard, an extra one in there. Down in here we keep spare tin snips. These are mostly, actually they're all dull. We just keep them around for cutting stuff we don't want to cut with our good ones, shingles, etc. Got a big chalk line for layout. It didn't fit in the other drawer, so it ended up in here. And then on the bottom we've got our trash can, and we got trailer blocks, and that toolbox has our drywall trowels and stuff in. We don't often use them, but it's nice to have along. In this one big drawer we have a couple of things that we keep in the cases. Air stapler. Under that we have an air trim gun. In there, that's a battery trim gun. No, it's not a Makita. It's just, that's what fit in the box. It's actually a Bostage. Makita speaker. Air hose for blowing stuff off. Some rags for whatever. Grease, dirt, you name it. Down here in the bottom, we keep our coil in this handy dandy box here, lined with carpet so it don't scratch. Got a hole in the bottom, feeds out. Just pull it out, whatever you need. Got a gas can, chainsaw, oil, jack, and in that box is some masonry tools, some hand trowels and stuff like that. Down here we keep our shop vac and our miter saw. You can see we got the table saw tucked in there and a compressor. Now for the other side of the trailer, here in the back we keep two 6-foot fiberglass ladders and the two multi ladders. We did away with our 8-footers. These multi ladders are the way to go. You can do so much more with them. We have all of our air hoses up there. You can see here again, we put our siding brake in here. We like to keep it with us if we need a little trim, something funky for some odd reason, because we do a fair amount of remodel and re-roof steel, and we don't always know exactly. Every house is different, so we use that quite a bit. Up in the top we have some ridge vent for steel. Got a random piece of coil up in there, and I don't know, a bunch of butyl tape and a little bucket of drywall mud. Laser bag. We got a microwave there. In here, it's where we keep all of our caulking. We have miscellaneous caulking, and then white and silicone. This trailer is wired, so we have all of our outlets there, and we have all of our battery chargers in there, as well as heat, because up here in New York, it gets cold in the winter, and the batteries don't like to charge if they are cold. Hence the reason for this door. We can hook the door up in the summertime if we don't need it, but wintertime we can shut the door and keep it warm in there. You can see we put all of our stickers there on the door, or whatever we had left over. Up here's where the power comes in. So what we did, mounted this cord reel with a heavy duty 100-foot cord on it. Drops down in that pipe. That pipe goes out the floor. So we show up on the job, we drop it down through, pull it out, and then this would get plugged in. As you can see, I turned the lights off there. Must be it's not properly connected. We plug that in and we can turn on all of our switches. Everything is on a separate switch. We don't have this trailer wired with GFI like the last one, because it kept blowing breakers. And typically if we plug into the outside of a house for shore power, those are GFI outlets, so we should be good. So we can flip everything on and off. This battery here is an old drill base that I had. Wired it up to some 12-volt lights, so I could turn the main power lights off and flip on the 12-volt lights. And we typically don't run them except for in the morning or late at night if we're loading or unloading the trailer and don't want to run the cord. There on the door we have a job sign and stuff stuffed in there. We've got all of our cords hanging up here in the front. And here we kept the same system again with the bins. We really like that. This time we eliminated a few bins and made some wooden drawers, because they're wider and shallower. It gives us more space to store some of the small stuff. In here we just have random door hardware and some ratchet straps. Moving on over, we have all of our nails, our small supply of nails, joist hanger nails, fascia nails, some cap nails and trim nails and whatever have you. We have random small screws that we don't use very much, some trim head screws, some shorter ones, some long deck screws, drywall. Believe those are some vinyl decking screws, short gutter screws for end caps, downspouts. This drawer we keep our Tapcons and our lags in here. We got all of our Tapcons, regular lags, some more random lags. We keep these here lags in here. These are what they would use on a log home to screw the logs together, and we often have some left over of them, so throw them in here. They're kind of handy if you need something long to fasten with. Over in here we have all of our bolts for whatever. We have some J-bolts for concrete, for fastening down the mud sill plates. And we have 16-penny commons, joist hangers. Down here in the bottom we keep one bin strictly for trash nails or bent junk screws, strictly trash. Down there, tucked in the bottom, we have the jacks to hold the planks that are on top of the trailer. We have roll door parts, 16-penny spirals. We keep some plumbing supplies in here. We don't do a lot of that. Maybe if we're doing a bathroom remodel, it's typically leftovers or whatever we have kicking around. In here we have gutter parts, some hangers, some 90s, you name it. We have 6-inch spikes, 2.5-inch siding nails, and 1.5-inch siding nails. We have hurricane ties, and here we have clips for standing seam roof, and behind that we have H-clips for plywood. Moving on over, we have 16 penny nails for the battery framers and 8 penny nails for battery framers, as well as the air gun in the back. And the air gun nails will be there. We also keep in stock these 4-inch GRKs. That's how we fasten our pole barn headers. 2-inch deck screws, 2.5s. Up in here we keep window tape, step flashing, and just random rolls of stuff. Down in here we have some pipe boots and railing caps and J-blocks for siding, some plain white ones if we forget one or customer wants to add one last minute while we're doing a project. In there we have all of our electrical stuff, some leftover wire, some remodel boxes. I think there's some phone wire in there. Hardly ever use it, but if we run into something when we're moving a window or a door in a wall and we need some, we have it. We have our tubes of liquid nail for subfloor in there. Down here in the bottom we have all of our jet stakes for bracing and batter boards. We have coil nails for the roof guns. Here we have our closure foam for steel, and then tucked in the back down in there we have some clips that are used for vinyl decking. We just buy them by the bucketfuls, and we don't run out as often, and we have them when we need them. So that's pretty much what we keep in stock for fasteners. We don't try and stock a whole lot, but just simply one of every, like one 25 or 50 pound box of all the common stuff that we use day in and day out. That way we don't have to figure it for every job. It's here, we use it. We just, when he figures a job up, he adds a fee on top for stuff that we might use out of the trailer. Then coming up here in the front, we have all of our shovels, sledgehammers, shovels, safety ropes. We have a magnet, shingle shovels. Up here in this corner, we have all of our tool belts hanging up. This trailer, I went ahead and made slots for all of the guys so you can hang their raincoats, safety harnesses in there, hard hats, as well as slots up in the very top there for them to throw extra tin snips and knee pads and tapes and whatever. Up in the top of that we have our stand for our laser, some ropes and some chain if we're setting trusses or something like that. I think our grade sticks up there, bolt cutters, whatever have you. We have the big caulk gun, 3 little ones here on the side. We keep one for every color, that way we don't have to switch. We got the miter saw stand. We got this little 2-stepper ladder, as well as a shingle cutter for doing shingle re-roofs. It's basically just a big shingle or a big paper cutter. You can actually buy these, but I was too cheap. I didn't want to spend $300, so I just made my own. That works out really well. Saves a lot of time for cutting starters on shingle jobs. And I think I forgot to mention we have some standing seam tools up in the top there as well. We have the lights. We keep rake, broom, clamps there on the top. Yep, that's pretty much what we opted to lay out. This system is not going to work for everybody. That's going to depend on what type of work you do and how you like to work and all that kind of stuff that goes along with it. I was going to do a video a while ago as soon as I had it built, but didn't get around to it, and actually I'm glad I didn't, because we changed a couple of things. Nothing too big, but a couple of minor things, and so far we really like it. Wouldn't change anything for the most part. Other note is these drawers are all the same size. If you watch Ron Polk's videos, he explains all about them, but I can swap them from wherever I want. If I want to move this one up there, I can swap it around, do whatever I want. But I made mine a little different than he did because of the lumber that I had kicking around, scraps, cut-offs, and made it out of what I had. I used two 2x6s to make mine. He uses plywood, which actually I used plywood on the top, but bottom we just used a 2x6. We went with a ramp door again. We like the ramp door. Gives ease of access in and out. We don't have to step up. You can see I painted the name there on the door. I don't know, just because we can. We did paint the floor in this trailer because we were gonna try and preserve the plywood out here. Our last trailer that got deteriorated quite a bit. This trailer here actually has this extra flap on. Our other trailer wouldn't have had that. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I don't know if anybody even watches these videos or not, but drop a comment down below, subscribe. I got some cool stuff coming up, hopefully. I just bought a drone, so I'm hoping to do some videos of some job sites that we have done. You can actually see there sits the old trailer. We don't use it to cross members. Or floor's fallen out of it, so now it's just currently storage container, along with a couple of other trailers, Bobcat, the lift. Hope you all guys have a good day, and thanks for watching.